you are capable of buying your new home. But you will need to follow these steps. And if you do, we'll get you off Zillow and in your new home. Hi, I'm Laura Aubrey, a realtor based here in the Highlands in Louisville, Kentucky. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 9 steps that you can expect as you are starting your journey in buying a home. And you could be a first-time home buyer, or you could be buying your 5th house. It's always a good reminder to kind of walk you through the steps and kind of refresh your memory on how the process works. So we're going to break this down into kind of 3 parts of buying a home. Part 1 is going to be comprised of getting pre-approved, setting up a buyer consultation, and then working on establishing kind of your criteria. The second part, we're going to get our showing set up, we're going to manage our expectations, and then we're going to work on what it looks like to make an offer. And then the third part is where we're under contract, working through inspections and the appraisal, or kind of explaining how the financing part of it works, and then what it means when we're sitting at the closing table and leaving the closing room with those keys in your hand. Step 1, let's talk about the pre-approval. So the reason that it's really important to get pre-approved before you even start looking is because you need to have your agent be able to kind of manage your expectations about what you can afford and where that house is that you can afford. Because when we sit down and start looking at the things that you want in your next home, the price, of course, is going to impact that a ton. And I always tell my clients, before you get that pre-approval letter, everything is an option, right? It's kind of like when you have a lot of money and you go shopping, you can't ever find anything. But if you don't have any money and you go out shopping, everything looks amazing and everything looks beautiful. So when you get that pre-approval, that is kind of like your permission to get really picky on what it is that you want. Step 2, buyer consultation. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you get pre-approved, ideally with a local, credible lender in your town. The reason this is important because of the credibility of that lender backs up your pre-approval in order to make your offer stand out or be stronger amongst competition. That pre-approval will also help you establish kind of a baseline and some parameters on what price point for the next house that you hope to be buying. And then the agent that you're working with is going to be able to help you understand the kind of house that you're going to be able to buy, with that pre-approval amount. Step 3, establish criteria. After you've gotten your pre-approval letter, more than likely you're going to set up some sort of a buyer consultation with the agent. We find that it's really important to sit down and have a consultation in person, build a little bit of rapport, understand that we are a trusted resource for you. But more importantly, we're going to spend that time hopefully going over what you're looking for in a house, kind of setting those expectations about what you can find in a house, also going over the details of the sales contract, how you win in multiple offer situations, how much money you have to put down for an earnest money deposit, and all of those details, because I've found over time, when you have that kind of information, you can make quick and fast decisions if needed. Step 4, start showing. Once you've established your criteria and how much you can afford and what you want in your house, then you'll sit down with your agent and kind of go over how we set up our automatic notifications for listings, how we communicate, if it's a hot property, you got to move quickly on it, and kind of what you could expect going into looking at homes and setting up those showings. Step 5, manage expectations. Now we've kind of moved past kind of the boring part, and now you get to move into what we call the fun part. And this is where you're getting out to look at houses, you're seeing the fun new listings that come on the market, you're sending them over to your agent and saying, what about this one? What about this one? And then hopefully you are getting in the door and looking at the houses. We always tell our clients, if a house has about 85% of what you're looking for, it's likely one that you should be considering making an offer on. That's going to be part of the process of working with the agent that you have on your side to kind of be able to help you through and go, am I going to be able to find another house like this? I don't want to miss out on this one. What's the likelihood the house like this is going to hit the market again? That's what your agent that you're working with should be able to help guide you through it. Step 6, make an offer. Once you have gone in and you've seen 5 to 7 houses, you found 3 or 4 that you love, you're going to start going, it's time to make an offer on one of these. And so that's when your agent will sit down with you and you'll fill in all of the contract, all of the details. The agent will communicate with the listing agent to ensure they've gotten all of the information they need for what the seller is looking for in an offer, whether that has to do with timelines, personal property remaining at the house, like refrigerators and hot tubs and play sets and all of those good things. And they're going to communicate with you what's going to help make your offer most attractive to the sellers. Step 7, inspections and appraisal. Now, our offer has been accepted and we are moving, we are under contract, and you are going to work through inspections. You're going to work with your agent on getting a good vetted list of home inspectors to work with. They're going to negotiate repairs on your behalf, and then the appraisal is going to be ordered. The inspection and the appraisal are 2 very different things, so let's keep that in mind. The inspections are there to establish whether or not the house kind of meets your expectations in terms of needed repairs or home maintenance. The appraisal is going to establish whether or not it meets the bank's expectations in terms of value. Step 8, financing and title. And hopefully, after we've negotiated successfully through your inspections and the appraisal, we're going to be moving into basically your clear to close and your final financing contingencies. If you're having a lender involved, it's very possible that you are paying cash and you don't have those financing contingencies. But if you are, like 95% of the market, you are going to kind of be waiting for that final clear to close from your lender, which gives us the last little check mark on our list of to-dos, if you will, in order to be sitting at the closing table, in the next little bit. Step 9, closing day and move-in. Now, the last final step of our kind of home buying process is going to be when you're sitting at the table. Now, in Kentucky, when you sit at the closing table, you are going to leave that closing room with the keys in your hand, and you are the homeowner of that house. Now, 2 days before closing, we're always going to do a walkthrough. If there were repairs that were negotiated, you're going to confirm that those repairs were completed successfully and that the home is in the same or better condition than it was when you made your offer, so that when you're sitting at the closing table on closing day, you can feel 100% confident that that house is in great shape and you're ready to become the next homeowner. So there you go. There are your 9 steps for buying a home. And while it might seem a little overwhelming, it's absolutely doable. That's what having the right person by your side is there to do. Is they're here to guide you, be a support, and advise you from the first step towards the end. So if you're thinking about buying a house here in Louisville, especially in the Highlands, we would be absolutely honored to work with you and help you through that process. I'm Laura Aubrey, a realtor here in Louisville, Kentucky. If this information was helpful, we would love for you to give us a follow on our social media channels here. Good luck out there, and we hope to see you in the neighborhood.